Hi, in this video tutorial, I'm gonna share with you how I assemble uh, a dual tone of petal number 4. Uh, the petal really looks simple, but the dual tone would, the process, is what makes it a little bit more interesting and complicated than the normal the normal petals that I have. So what I have here is are petals that I'm gonna be using to create a medium size flower. And because it's a medium size flower, we are going to use a medium size base, which is 4 inches. And if you are buying the PDF, the second largest, that's the medium. So we're using the 4 inches base. And when you buy this, if you're buying the PDF, there are gonna be 5 petal sizes. And if you are going to buy SVG or PNG, I provided 10 ideal sizes for you. And the sizes will be 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, up to 5A and 5B. And the reason for that is I really intend to share, the correct sizing or the ideal sizing in case you wanted to make a dual tone. So, like for example, if you intend to make a large flower, you can use the 5 inches base, and then you can use petals 1A, 1 up to 4, 4A, and the other tone will be 1B to 4A. So what I mean is that when you want to make large flower, use the first 4 sizes, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 petals. And because we intend to make medium size flower, we are using petals 3, 4, 5, A and B. But then again, you don't have to use the A and B if you don't want to make a dual tone. You just wanted to make, a single tone flower. I will also show you what other petal folding or petal curling you can do in order to create a flower out of this template. The only thing in common is the placement on how you are going to arrange this in a 4 inches diameter. So if you intend to make a small flower, use the 4 and 5 templates. So here we're using 8 sheets of paper on each tone. So 8 paper of this tone, the cream, although I really hate because it becomes wasteful in this side. However, I still can use this. I save my paper and intend to use that later. So we are going to use 8 sheets of your first tone, which is the larger petal, because as you can see, there's gonna be a difference. That's how you're going to make a tone. The base part is the larger petal, and the second tone or the inner petal is smaller one. So we need 8 of this, 8 sheets. I lay out the 3 petals in here, and at the same time we also uses 8 of this tone. So 16 sheets all in all. I know it consume more than the normal, but it is really like that, you know. Good things really comes with a price. So now that I explain how I lay out my medium size template number 4, now let's proceed to, before we are going to proceed to how I put it all together, I have 3 extra petals in here that I'm gonna show you what else can you do with this petal design. So first off is you can just fold it in half like so, and cut all the way half of the petal, and you can put the slit together. So that's one way. And as you can see, if you will do it like this, you might end up making similar to a sunflower flower. And if you want to have an extra texture on this, we can also, using a very tiny curling tool, we can curl the side if we want. And that's another flower design. So also, what other thing we can do is cut a slit, not too deep, not as deep as the first one, and then glue the flaps together. Make sure that it's upright, and then you can curl it outward like so. So the same petal, different texture. The third one will be opposite of the second one. Just make a slit and then glue the flaps together. And you can curl it inward. Again, you will achieve different texture using the same petal design. The only thing which is common to this is the way how I place the petals around the base. So you can use either this 3 or the next one that I'm gonna be showing you, but the way how I place it around my my base would be the same. So we need 8 of this, 8 each. So what we are trying to do here is to make it this way. I already did you know, the rest of the petals, so to make this tutorial a bit quicker. Now I'm just gonna show you how I put this petal together. So first off, center your inner petal from your outer one or your base, and make sure it has an even distribution of the visibility of your base, you know, from your outside petal. So now that we find the center point, make sure that the point is pointing towards you and holding it tight, you know, keeping it in place with your fingers like this. And then we can remove the fluff, still having a control, tight holding the petals together. Let's glue the base together to keep it in place. And another thing is to dab a little glue on the tip of your inner petal and just stick it in there, making it sure that it's not going anywhere. So once you've done that, we are going to create a slit. Half of the petal, we are just eyeballing half of the petal, and then have your palm open a little bit, curl it a little bit, and place your petal using your curling tools. Mine is a small dowel rod. I'm just gliding it around my palm and giving it a soft and subtle curl. We're not curling it in a harsh way, but we are curling it, you know, in a very soft and nice way. And we are gluing the flaps together. So here it is, and again, it has a soft curl on it, you know, not a very harsh one. Let's do the medium. So again, because our base here is the cream, let's put the base at the back, and let's center the pink as much as we can. Hold it with the tip of with your fingers tight, keeping it in place. Use your index finger to, you know, place in between so you can easily put your glue. Take your fingers out in between the petals and just press. And again, have some little glue here at the tip. Excuse me. And keep it in place. Now again, we are going to make a slit, eyeballing half of the petal. And gluing the flaps together. So the third one, the same thing. We are going to center our pink petal into our cream and glue it together. And make a slit, curl it softly, and glue the flaps together. So again, in each petal in this medium size, we are using 3A and 3B. So these two are both third petal, but the larger one is the 3A and the smaller one is 3B. So that's how you are going to use to make a dual tone. But if you intend on using one tone to create a flower like this one, all you can do is to choose. If you want to make large, use use petal 1A, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. Or you can also use, you know, 1B, 2B, 3B, and 4B. It all depends on you how you are going to, you know, use the petals. That's just my ideal usage of it. So now that our 8 petals of 3 layers are complete, it's now time for us to assemble it in our base. So again, we are using a smaller base, the 4 inches, and if you want to hang this flower, I would suggest to put the pipe cleaner in here and go back to my universal way on how to assemble paper flower template of paper flower. I instruct there how I use the pipe cleaner to hang your flower. So if you don't, let's go ahead and proceed to, putting it into our base. So first off, we are going to put a glue. We are reversing it, making it upside down, and the point and the edge of the template is facing towards you. And on your left side, just dab half of the glue of the petal base and leave this one here open, and I will discuss it later why we need to do that, and place it there. So let's do the same thing with our next petals. All we need is just half of the base, leave the other half open, and place it across the first petal. So now we're going to have like a cross. So the same thing, just half of your petal and place it on your base. So we are doing this to ensure that we have an even distribution of our petals around our base. So the same thing, half, and place it on your base. So now that we have all four placed together, now we can sneak the next petals in between. So that is why we leave, the other side open, so we can sneak it and have an illusion that we are placing our petal one side atop of the other, and we are placing our petal in between these two previous ones. So then again, we are just going to put half side of the base and position it as center of these two as we can. And then now we can secure those loose ends like this. And the same thing, we can sneak our petal in between a center to the two previous petals as we can. And while we're doing that, we're also securing the loose ends. Actually, what I love most about this petal design, it looks like a lotus to me. It reminds me of our honeymoon in Bali. So again, we are just putting half of the glue on the half of the base and placing it in between the two and securing the loose ends. We are not securing this one yet because we still have one other petal to insert in there. So that's how our petal looks like. Now we're securing our loose ends, and that's how our petal number 4 look like, just with one layer. So let's continue doing our second layer, and let's do the same thing. So 1, and the way how I position it right now, I am placing this petal in between these two. So again, the same thing, I'm going to go the exact opposite of the first petal that I had. 2, and attempting to make a cross. 3, 4, and then the remaining 4 we can just snake it in between the two, making it sure that it's still in the middle of the two previous petal in the previous layer. So 2, so we're sneaking our second to the last petal here, and to our last. So there you have it. I don't think we need to secure the loose ends because the base of our petal is just so narrow that it doesn't necessarily need to have that. Now let's go to our third layer. One, and I'm also placing it perpendicular to the first layer and in between the two previous ones. Two, three, 4, and then just inserting the remaining 4 in between. One, two, three, and the last piece, 4. So I really like how it turns out. Now it looks more of a lotus to me. So you can put whatever center you wish to have here. You can even put a baby rose, or for me in this particular flower, I prepared already a floppy center that I can use for this. So I will put the link of the tutorial for this floppy center, and the center is not included. You can also get this one from my Etsy, but I would include a flat center, you know, for you to really be able to start on a project. So just squeeze a decent amount of glue on your center base and glue it as center as you want, like so. So now we have our lotus, and I really love how it looks like, and I love how it turns out. I hope you guys are too. So thank you so much for watching, and one more glance to our beautiful lotus using paper flower template number 4. Bye for now.